On July 3rd, 2023, we have a full moon in Capricorn taking place. And in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you and guiding you through 8 journaling prompts directly inspired by the energetic themes surrounding this Capricorn full moon. One of the overall themes and energies of this lunation is the energy of checking in with yourself. You may have felt inspired to check in with yourself, to check in with your energy, with the direction of which you're headed, with your environment, to assess if it is in alignment with where it is that you feel called to grow towards, to see if it still resonates with who it is that you are becoming, to see if it does fulfill what you intuitively feel is your soul's purpose and what you intuitively feel are your higher potentials. We are amidst the mid-year point of the calendar year. So it is very natural for the collective, for our society to feel like this is a great time to be checking in with ourselves and with the ways in which we are investing our time and energy. So we're definitely going to be checking in with ourselves in all of these ways in these prompts. But as mentioned, we're also going to be touching on the other themes of this Capricorn full moon. So if you enjoy this video, make sure to click subscribe so you don't miss out on any of my weekly videos and you join in on this beautiful growing community. Would love to have you. And if there are any particular prompts that you really resonate with, I would love to know which ones they are in the comment section below. Your girl loves creating and cultivating community in the comments. And as you may know, for those of you who have been watching these videos, I love connecting with you all. So I look forward to speaking with some of you in the comments. Now, without further ado, let's get into these full moon in Capricorn journaling prompts. What have I privately been assessing and processing? I feel like this is a great way for us to start our journaling. If you so choose this prompt as one of the prompts that you journal, obviously you don't have to journal all the prompts that I am sharing with you in this video, but this prompt to me really serves like as a good warm-up prompt to get the juices of our mind flowing and to get us to start warming up to this energy of checking in with ourselves. So that said, has there been anything that you have been assessing with your own self privately and not really telling really anybody about? Has there been anything you've been processing intimately with your own self and perhaps with the higher power of which you are in relationship with? I honestly don't feel like there's really anything wrong with us choosing to intentionally assess and process certain things in our lives within our own selves. In fact, I think it's really healthy, especially when it's done because you intuitively feel like this is something I just need to assess and or process with my own self and not really be talking to so many people about. So what is that for you? And maybe you haven't fully allowed yourself to become aware of these things that you have been keeping to yourself, that you have been assessing, that you have been processing and haven't really told anybody about. And maybe as you do hold this space to allow yourself to become aware of, oh, I have been processing this, I have been assessing this all on my own. Maybe once you become aware of what these things are, perhaps after you journal this, you do feel inspired and intuitively called to talk to somebody about it other than your own self. So if you feel called, if you feel so inspired, I encourage you to use this prompt as a warm-up. And if you do find yourself feeling inspired to talk to somebody about whatever it is that you journal. I also encourage you to manifest that and allow yourself the opportunity to talk to somebody about these things you've been privately assessing and processing. When do I feel safe to be my full, authentic, unfiltered self? The energy of feeling safe is arising amongst this full moon in Capricorn. And I really desired for us to take a moment, for us to hold the space to reflect on and journal about when it is that we feel safe, because I feel like this will bring us so much clarity as to what kinds of environments make us feel safe to be our full, authentic, unfiltered selves. It's so important that we cultivate these safe spaces for ourselves, and that we prioritize positioning ourselves in these safe spaces as much as we can, so that we can feel safe to be our full, authentic, unfiltered selves as much as we can. Are there specific relationships? Are there specific kinds of environments? Are there specific kinds of senses even that make you, that inspire you, that naturally have you feeling safe to be your true self? Are there certain smells? Are there certain sights, certain touches, certain sounds, certain tastes that have you feeling safe to be your full, authentic, unfiltered self? Describe these people, places, and things in as much detail as possible. And also something that's coming up for me is like thinking of also activities that bring about this feeling of safety for you to be your true self. Maybe even in prayer, perhaps, is something that's coming up for me. Maybe when you're praying, you feel like you can just be your unfiltered self. Maybe when you're journaling, you feel like you can be your unfiltered self. And once you really journal this prompt out, take a moment to acknowledge, like, oh, this is where I feel safe to be my true self. Let me be intentional about positioning myself in these spaces and in these energies more often. How would I describe the maturity I have been arriving and growing into? This is another energetic theme of this full moon in Capricorn, is the energy, the theme of maturity. And this makes so much sense because we are in the season of full bloom, where we see all of nature coming into full bloom, coming into its own maturity in its own beautiful divine ways. And you, my friend, are also nature. You, my friend, are also a part of nature, and you also experience what nature experiences through all of these seasonal transitions. So you in your own ways are coming into full bloom. You in your own ways are arriving to maturity, are growing into maturity. So what are those ways for you? How have you been arriving to maturity? How have you been growing into maturity? What has that looked like for you? And as always, I'm encouraging you with every prompt to journal in as much detail and specificity as possible, because the more details that we allow ourselves to uncover and acknowledge, the more clarity that we have the potential to arrive to. Also, real quick on the tip of, nature coming into full bloom and experiencing its own maturity, and us also experiencing that as well. Us and nature really are mere reflections of one another. And I have felt so passionate about having the collective be more consciously aware of all the medicine and all the themes that exist in nature that also exist within our own lives. And so I have been offering these online courses where I am guiding you through prompts and exercises and reflections and gentle reminders that have to do with each season in nature. And the summer online course is coming up and is commencing in July. So if you would like to register for that, if you'd like to learn more, I'll put a link in the description below. What thoughts, feelings, and actions am I intentionally integrating into my being? What do I mean by being? I mean who you be, okay? I mean who it is that you are. What are the thoughts that you've been intentionally integrating into who you are? What feelings have you been intentionally integrating into who you are? What actions have you intentionally been integrating into who you are? I know that so many of us in the collective have not only felt inspired to be more intentional about the thoughts that we think, about the feelings that we feel, about the actions that we act, but a lot of people in the collective have been putting in the practice in actually bringing about these intentional integrations. So what have these intentional integrations been for you? What thoughts, feelings, and actions have you intentionally been integrating into your being, into who you are, into who you're becoming, into who you feel the need, the calling to be, into who you feel the deep desire to become? Now, if you are listening to this and you're like, girl, I honestly feel like I have not been intentional at all. So I'm gonna just because you don't feel like you currently resonate with a prompt doesn't mean that you should just skip it. This could be an opportunity for you to set the intention now. These are the thoughts I'm going to think. These are the feelings I'm going to feel. These are the actions I'm going to act and integrate into my being from this point on, okay? So don't be skipping out on things just because you feel you can't or don't currently relate to them, okay? So again, what thoughts, feelings, and actions have you been intentionally integrating into your being? In what ways am I actively reclaiming authority over my mind, body, and spirit? If you've journaled the last prompt or any of the previous prompts, you can definitely look back at what you wrote in those prompts to assist you in writing this prompt. I am always intentional about the order of which I share these prompts with you. One of the other energetic themes of this full moon in Capricorn is the energy of reclaiming our authority, right? It's the calling, the inspiration, the motivation to no longer let more time pass without us being intentional, right? Just as we talked about and wrote about and contemplated about in the last prompt, this prompt is just expanding a bit more and getting us to journal about the ways in which we've been reclaiming our power, reclaiming our sovereignty, reclaiming our authority over our own lives. Now, I intentionally wrote reclaiming authority over my mind, body, and spirit because I don't want us to simply think about the physical things in our lives that we've been reclaiming our power over. But mentally, how have you been reclaiming your mind? Physically, how have you been reclaiming authority over your body, right? And spiritually, how have you been reclaiming authority over your spirit? Now, this is not to get us to be confused and have us thinking that we have complete power over every aspect of our lives. It's more so about us coming into and arriving into the knowing, into the maturity of really acknowledging that we do have power over our lives and making the most out of the power that we do have accessible to us in this life, in this human experience. So, in what ways are you actively reclaiming authority? Are you actively reclaiming your power over your life, over your mind, body, and spirit? How would I describe the overall energy that reflects the higher potentials I am becoming? How would I describe the overall energy that reflects the higher potentials I am becoming? This is a very affirmative and also meditative prompt. I definitely encourage you to step into this prompt with this feeling of affirming yourself and the higher potentials you are coming and the energy you are embracing and embodying that reflects those higher potentials. And I also encourage you to take a moment to meditate on your higher potentials. What are these higher potentials, these higher vibrations, these versions of your higher self that you are envisioning yourself becoming, that you are feeling yourself becoming, that you are deeply desiring for yourself to become, that you feel the need, the call to become? Take a moment to really envision the energy that reflects those higher potentials and then journal about it. Journal about all that encompasses your higher potential. Now, this may feel a bit overwhelming because it's like there's so much that we can describe about our higher potentials, their daily routine, their, we're not even going to say their, we're going to say our, right? We're going to claim in our journaling that we are our higher potential. So I am encouraging you as well to already position yourself as your higher potentials and describe your own energy as your higher potential. Don't even separate yourself from your higher potential in this journal prompt. I love that this came up for me right now and that I'm sharing this with you because this is actually really important. Let us embrace and embody our higher potential now and describe the energy of which we are embracing and embodying now that reflects our higher potentials. I know that this kind of sounded a bit of a tongue twister. Hopefully you understand what I'm getting at, but this is an important prompt. And of the many encouragements I've already shared, encourage you to journal this prompt under this Capricorn full moon. What progress have I made that is worthy of my acknowledgement? This is a very clear, concise prompt. There's really not much more for me to say here other than you are worthy of acknowledging the progress you've made. Okay? What progress have you made? And look, I already know that there's some of you who are listening to this and thinking, I have made no progress at all. Feeling like you've made no progress at all. I'm telling you, I am sure you have made progress. No matter how seemingly small this progress may be, progress is progress and it's worthy of being acknowledged first and foremost, especially by you, by our own self. We are worthy of acknowledging our accomplishments, our progress, our growth, our maturity as often as possible. I really am an advocate for that. So, what progress is worthy of your acknowledgement? Take a moment to think about the progress that you've made mentally, physically, spiritually, that you may have not fully allowed yourself to acknowledge and is so worthy of your full acknowledgement. Why am I deserving of gifting myself grace? Grace is another energy amongst this Capricorn full moon, and I love the energy of grace so much, the energy of graciousness. It is an energy that we are all so worthy, just as we are so worthy of really acknowledging our own progress. We are also so worthy of gifting ourselves grace in our journey of growth, in our human experience. This is like in this human incarnation that we're experiencing, it's our first time as this incarnation, as this version of ourselves that we're experiencing, and we're so deserving of gifting ourselves grace. Gifting ourselves grace for making mistakes, gifting ourselves grace for taking things maybe a bit slower, gifting ourselves grace for learning and maybe having to learn the same lesson more than once, for gifting ourselves grace for being in the unknown, gifting ourselves grace for things taking a bit longer than anticipating, gifting ourselves grace for not having all the clarity that we desire and may feel we need in this moment. Let this prompt serve as a sigh of relief, right? Let this prompt serve as a safe space for you to practice gifting yourself the grace that you are deserving of, and allowing yourself to relax into this energy of forgiveness and understanding and compassion. And that, my friends, are the 8 journaling prompts for the upcoming Capricorn full moon taking place on July 3rd, 2023. Again, if you are not already subscribed, make sure to click subscribe, to like this video, to leave a comment and let your girl know which prompt you resonated with the most. Let's connect with each other in the comments. Let's cultivate community in the comments. I love that so much. I love all of you so much who take a moment to leave comments under videos. Please, y'all, on that note, engage with the creators that you enjoy. Okay, it's so affirming. It's such a beautiful way to give as you are receiving what they have created. I appreciate you so much for investing your time and energy in this way, for turning inward. It's so beautiful of you to be working with our beautiful moon. And I'm wishing you the most blessed, clarifying, comforting, confidence boosting Capricorn full moon. And I look forward to being brought into your present moment in the next video. Bye.